From Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world, I'm David Gavri, and this is the Vegas Faces podcast, where we talk with Las Vegas locals about what it's really like to live in the City of Lights. Whether you're living in Vegas, moving to Vegas, or just visiting Vegas and looking for new adventures, together let's discover the hidden gems that make Sin City the most visited place on earth. Hey everyone, welcome back to Vegas Faces, where we talk to Vegas locals about what it's like to actually live here. I'm your host, David Gavri. My family and I have been living here since 2018, and we love to share our experiences on the everyday side of Las Vegas. Quick shout out to our producer, Paul, behind the scenes, making us all look good. This week's topic is subscription-based doctor's visits, better known as direct primary care, that does not require insurance, no copays, no hidden fees, no mountains of paperwork, just direct access with the same-day appointments without spending hours in the waiting room. With us today, we have Dr. Brett Harima and Mr. Benjamin McGarvey, the owners of Valor Direct Primary Care, right here in Las Vegas. Dr. Harima is a medical doctor and a nuclear physicist who served in the United States Air Force for 30 years and has a master's degree in public health from Harvard. Mr. McGarvey is a certified physician assistant who served 25 years in the Air Force and was a former member of the White House Medical Unit during the Obama administration, as well as during President Trump's first administration. I'm extremely excited to talk to these amazing people. We're going to learn all about the concept of direct primary care, and we're going to talk about Las Vegas healthcare. Let's go. What's the craziest medical issue you've dealt with from right here in Sin City?
I've had a coyote bite.
Are coyotes like rampant here in Vegas?
Out on the ranges, but they are definitely encroaching into the city more and more.
So what happens if one gets bit by a coyote? What must be done?
You need to clean the wound. You need to take care of the wound first, and then if you can find the coyote and capture it to see if it has rabies, that would be best. If you don't know, then you're going to have to consider it possibly is rabid if it attacked a human, and then start rabies prophylaxis.
Oh, God. And what does that entail?
It's not the 27 shots in the stomach like it used to be. Now it's a series of 3 injections, I believe.
Quick shout out to my mom. My mom got bit by a raccoon. They live out in the country in Texas, and she loves to feed the animals. She loves to feed the ducks and the squirrels and the raccoons. And a raccoon bit her, and she had to have rabies treatment. And we were kind of making fun of her. Love you, Ma. But it was a very serious thing too. I mean, she thought it was a nothing, like, oh, I'll just put some Neosporin on it or something. But that's kind of what it reminds me of.
The guy who got bit was actually in a public restroom, and the coyote came in and went underneath the stall in order to bite him, and did it twice.
Oh my! He was able to chase him off the first time, but then he didn't shut the door, and he went right back in there, and that coyote's head came under the stall door again, grabbed right hold of his leg.
Oh man, that's an aggressive coyote. Like do they actively attack people?
No, they don't actively seek people out. That's why we think this one was rabid. Security did find it. When they shot it, though, they shot it in the head, and you could not verify that it had rabies then. So he just got a shot.
Oh, my. Oh, man. Wow. But most of the time I have to assume whether it's a snake bite, spider, scorpion, whatever you get bit by, it's probably very hard to recover that creature and bring it into the clinic to verify, right? So you just have to be treated as worst case scenario just in case?
That's correct.
All right, Dr. Harima, do you have a fun one?
Oh, I don't know about a fun one like that, but we get all kinds of calls that come in the middle of the night. But some of the kind of the opposite end of the spectrum is waking up at 2 a.m. with a phone call from a mother, and very concerned and stuff. And she says, "My baby is crying," and that's it. My baby's crying, and okay. And her question was, "Well, what do I do?"
Oh.
And so it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum of some of the stuff we get.
Well, I have to think too, like for direct primary care, which I want to go into, just the concept of it, what it is, why people should get it. But you guys aren't necessarily an ER, so this is a place where people have a subscription service to where they get their basic needs. They get their regular checkup type of needs. Like, can we go into exactly what it is that that you guys do that differs from a regular doctor's visit, and why it's beneficial for people to come to Valor Direct Primary Care?
You take it.
So direct primary care is basically family doctors that deal with primary care. So primary care as opposed to like specialized care or emergent care. Um, so when you think of your family doctor, that's who we are. The thing that makes direct primary care a little different from what we think of as a traditional model is that we don't deal with insurance companies. So the member pays a monthly membership fee, and with that comes everything you get through the clinic here with us. So that's the model. There's no insurance company that basically directs the care that I'm allowed to give to the patient, and it's a constant. Think of it as concierge care, but for normal people, not the guys up on the hill.
Okay. And when it comes to like the subscription and how you basically, it's a monthly subscription. I don't know. It makes me think of like a gym membership or something. But what exactly does it entail, and what does it not entail? I guess meaning like if there's something extreme, it would have to then be outsourced to specialty clinics that may specialize in certain treatments or procedures and things like that. So can you go into maybe what it is that you're able to offer from inside the walls of your clinic?
We can handle all of your primary care needs. If you have asthma, we can treat and manage your asthma, high blood pressure, diabetes. If you're sick, make us your first call, and we can evaluate you, diagnose you, treat you from here. More of the specialty care would be like when we think that our treatment has dictated you need to go see orthopedics or endocrinology, or maybe you need a surgeon. But we handle everybody's referrals. If you are seeing a rheumatologist regularly and they've got you on a treatment strategy that's working for you, we can continue that. You don't have to go see them just for a refill of medication that we can provide you here.
Is there anything that you specialize in? Like, Valor Direct Primary Care, they're best known for XYZ. Is there something like that?
Ben's getting really good at skin procedures.
I do a lot of lipoma removals, suturing, biopsies.
What about, I don't know, medications? Like if people need certain medications, can they get that from your clinic, or is that also something that they have to go to another clinic for?
Nope, they can get that right here. So we are licensed by the Nevada Board of Pharmacy to store and dispense medication from our medical practice. So we keep a small dispensary. We buy our patients' medications wholesale, and we pass that savings on to them. Some good examples are a lot of people don't realize they can get omeprazole for their daily heartburn medication. We do it for $1.80 for 3 months. A lot of blood pressure medicines are about a penny a pill, and we pass that savings on to our patients. We can write it over at any pharmacy you want, and you can pay your insurance copay to get it there. But here, there's no hassle. You can just text me what you need, and I can fill it.
And what about not just checkups, but certain, I guess you can call it milestone checkups when you reach a certain age?
We do manage all that care, yes. So there are certain part of direct primary care in general is preventive medicine, and to make sure you get your screening tests and all that kind of stuff done. And for us, we do a yearly EKG as well as a full physical, and all kind of the recommended lab work that you should be getting on a regular basis. So that stuff is all arranged through us and is included in our membership.
How did you guys even think of this type of model, this subscription-based model? Like you're literally Netflix for healthcare, like just this monthly subscription service for a doctor's visit. Like how were you able to bypass all the bureaucracy and all the, cutting out the insurance and the middlemen and all the people that have their hands in the current healthcare system? What made you guys go this route?
So direct primary care has actually been around. Well, in a sense, it goes way back to the way things were done back in like the 70s and 60s and stuff like that, as far as not having the insurance companies direct all the care from the family doctors. But in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, with the insurance expansion, that kind of care kind of disappeared. But I would say about 15 years ago, they started up with the direct primary care model with the membership monthly fee type of program, if you will, or model. And then it's really gained steam in the last 5 or 6 years. So it's nationwide, and it's been a huge success everywhere it's been put in place. There are plenty of direct primary care doctors here in the Valley. In fact, we hear that a lot of the doctors that of primary care that have been doing the insurance model have been switching over to direct primary care or concierge care here, especially in the Valley. And it's kind of unfortunate in a sense because Las Vegas has, well, it did have was dead last in the country as far as the number of primary care doctors per population. I think we moved up to 49th just in the last month or two, or 48th, something like that, 48th. But we're still down there near the bottom. So it's very, very difficult to find a primary care doctor nowadays, even if you have insurance, especially if you have insurance. So that's one of the biggest things that bring patients to us is they're desperate to find a primary care doctor for whatever their needs might be. And it's interesting because like a lot of things that if you go to you don't have a direct primary care doctor and you end up in the hospital for whatever reason, so you get pneumonia or something, when they discharge you to your direct primary care, and they basically give you a note that says, follow up with your primary care doctor. And if you don't have one, then you're scrambling around to try to find one. And we get that quite a bit. And patients are like, we can't get seen for 4 or 5 months because they don't have anything available. It's just not there. And they just need a note from their primary care doctor that says, yes, they're okay to go back to work, for example. And if you don't have that, then you're kind of stuck. And I've seen that other places too, where you have, I don't know, you just need a doctor's note to get back into school or something like that. And having a doctor that is able to write a note for you, I mean, it seems like such a small thing, but if your kid can't go back to school, I mean, think back with COVID and that kind of misery that was going around and stuff like that. Your kid's stuck at home for months because you can't get a note from a doctor, which is kind of ridiculous. The system should not work in that way, but that's what we're stuck with sometimes. This model, we don't work for insurance companies. We don't have to bill. We don't have to code and think a certain way in order to get paid. Our customers pay us directly. We work directly for them. And so for them to get a note from us is no problem. In fact, they don't even necessarily have to come in. We can do telemedicine with them and just talk to them over like a connection like this, and then see them and write them their note and get them back to school or back to work right away, the same day. No reason for that to be weeks or months, as ridiculous as that sounds. That's just the way of it. There's a lot of specialty care. We talk about, say, like an oncologist if you have cancer, or orthopedic if you have something wrong with your legs or your arms or something like that. They will not take you unless you have a primary care doctor, because once they're done, they can't spend their time seeing you for regular things like getting a refill of medications or something like that. So they discharge you once they've seen you to your primary care doctor. And if you don't have one, people don't necessarily realize that, but if you don't have one, they're not going to see you until you get one. So we get patients all the time that are just desperate to like have a primary care doctor on record so that they can actually go see a specialist that they somehow gotten permission through their insurance company to go see.
Do you see more doctors moving to this type of model? Is that considered like direct competition? I guess maybe because this model is still early in its infancy, do you see that this being like a shift in the healthcare system long term?
I do. I think, I mean, there's a place for everything. Um, but the thing about direct primary care is that this model allows us to see a patient same day or next day, um, to see them for an extended period. So typically, if you go see your doctor downtown or something, in the what we'll call the traditional model, they don't have very much time to see you. They've got a lot of patients they've got to go through. They've got a lot of uh, paperwork and I don't know coding work that they have to do in order to satisfy the insurance company so that they can get paid. So they can only see you for 5 or 10 minutes, which for some things is probably okay, but for a lot of things it's not okay. You need to spend some time with the patient to get them to understand what's going on, what's happening to their body, what's going to happen to their body if they do nothing, or if they do something, say A, B, or C treatments, what's going to end up happening to them, so that they can make an informed decision on what it is that they want to happen to themselves. It's their body, and it's their future, and it's their decision making that should be taken into account when things are done to them. So with a model like this, we have that time to sit down and explain things, answer questions, and that sort of stuff, and not be rushed 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, whatever. And with that, I mean, in my personal opinion, that's much better care for the patient. They get much better. They're much more, I don't know, involved with their own care. They end up taking care of themselves better, and they're more willing to take medications or something because it's a decision that they made, not that the doctor made for them. So I think it's much better care. In a lot of cases, it is actually cheaper care, which is kind of weird. But you, there was a study done, I believe, about 10 years ago that compared direct primary care to the traditional model. And you actually save money. The people who are in direct primary care save money by using that. And the reason for that is, I mean, a little bit caveat that goes to that, but that's because most of the patients that end up joining direct primary care, they have a high deductible insurance. And when you have a high deductible, I mean, the insurance companies love that because you never go see a doctor because you have to pay out of pocket to go see them. And you never know how much you're going to get charged, and you end up getting charged a huge amount, way more than you should be, and that's for whether it's a radiology exam or for your medications or for labs. You can literally spend thousands of dollars on labs that should cost only like $100, and or same thing with an MRI, for example, can cost a couple $1,000s when really it should cost about $250 or $300 at most. And when you come through a direct primary care doctor, they're going to explain ahead of time and say, well, you can get this MRI and it's going to cost this amount, say $300 if you do it through us. You can go through your insurance company and you can pay the $2,000 and then see what they will pay or what they won't pay. And it's frustrating for the patients to see them go through that because a lot of times, even to do that, they have to get prior approval and it takes weeks to do that. Whereas with us, it's literally you can get an appointment next day or within a couple of days at most, to get a procedure done that you're concerned about. You wouldn't ask for it if you didn't really want it and need it. So it's just throwing that extra layer of bureaucracy called an insurance company out of the mix when it comes to your care. Now, there's a lot of time. I mean, the vast majority of the patients that even that we have insurance, and they would like to use that if they can. And so we'll use their insurance, whatever, to go to specialty care, the oncologist or what have you. But a lot of patients are like, you know what, I don't want to deal with insurance companies at all, and I will pay out of pocket. And you'll be surprised to know that, like, I don't know, so you get surgery for a broken arm or something like that, and It's going to cost you, but it's, the cost that you would expect to see, like $15,000, $16,000. Nope. If you go and you do it, if you do it the smart way, you can pay probably less than $2,000 for an orthopedic procedure, surgery that's fixing your arm or something like that. So there are options out there, and I encourage people to look. But direct primary care is one of those options that people are not. I wasn't aware of it until recently, and so if I wasn't even aware of it, I'm imagining that most people are not aware too. And it's pretty easy to find. You Google it or what have you, and look it up, and it's a real thing.
I love it. How do we feel about healthcare here in Vegas? What challenges does the city of Vegas run into to improve its healthcare? What needs to be done here?
Well, let me preface this with this is not throwing shade at any of the doctors here in Las Vegas. The system is broken and it's very difficult to navigate. So when you need an appointment with any kind of doctor, it's going to take at least weeks to get in unless it's direct primary care. So outside of direct primary care, we've heard people when they're looking for recommendations of where to go for this or that procedure, people usually say the airport so that you can go to another state and get more quality care. I don't necessarily think that that is the case. I think that because Clark County of Nevada or Clark County, Las Vegas, has the average primary care physician sees about 1,700 patients to themselves. It's very difficult to get in with them. And then when you do get in with them, you've got 10, 15 minutes before someone else is knocking on the door that it's their turn. So you don't get a lot of time with a provider. That provider may be fully capable, but their hands are tied on what they can actually give you. So I think the state of the healthcare is just overwhelmed, and you're having more providers switch over to this model because their patients are happier, they're happier. It makes for a much better day when you're just taking care of your team.
Yeah, and how are you guys able to provide the quality? I think from when we first met, you mentioned something about how you only take a certain amount of patients, whereas I think the traditional healthcare system, they're just like a turnstile. They're trying to take as many as possible. I think. Please correct me, but you guys cap at a certain number of patients per year. Can you go into that?
Well, we're going to cap for a certain amount of patients for our clinic. So right now we're banking on 500. We're about at 160. We want to be able to continue to offer patients same day, next day appointments. Those appointments can be up to an hour long. Our initial appointments are 90 minutes long. We understand some things don't take that full time. We can book people for 30 minutes, 15 minutes if we need to. But we are going to take that 500 patients and we're going to share them. It's not like I get 500 and he gets 500. Remember when I said in Clark County, the average primary care physician has 1,700 patients? That's just for them. So we're going to split 500, and that enables our patients to have our full time and attention.
I want to know just why Vegas in general. What made you guys come to Vegas, start a clinic in Vegas? What do you like about Vegas? What do you not like about Vegas?
Well, what made us come to Vegas was the military. Both Brett and I were in the Air Force. We were stationed here, and when we retired, our families had kind of established roots here. We were enjoying it, and we wanted to continue in the medical field. So it was just a natural fit to open up our own clinic.
As far as coming to Vegas, the first time that my family came to Vegas, my kids were still in school, and my wife and I were terrified. We were like, okay, we'll do our couple of years here, and we'll try to shelter our kids away from Sin City and all the reputation that Vegas has. It's what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, all that sort of stuff. But when we got here, it was really eye-opening that Vegas, maybe away from the Strip or away from that part of the town, It's actually much more down to earth than I ever would have expected. And I tell other people that, friends and family, home and stuff like that, it's really much more down to earth um, they would expect. There's still a little bit of a get quick rich sort of feel to the valley, but overall, it's much less so than I thought it was going to be. And you actually have neighbors that friendly neighbors and all that kind of stuff, at least where I live. And um, there's grocery stores, and I mean, things are it's pretty normal. Um, I mean, I guess you have to go to a casino to see a movie, but um, but honestly, it's been so much more family friendly than I ever expected. And then I'm kind of an outdoorsy person. I like to spend time outside, and everything around the city itself. So Red Rock and Valley of Fire and Mount Charleston. I mean, those places are just fantastic. They're great for hiking and all that kind of stuff. Go down to Lake Mead. Those are all kind of, I don't know, free, whatever, sort of places that you can enjoy that are just fantastic. And it's different, definitely different from, I mean, a desert and mountains. So you don't see the ocean or you don't see, I don't know, the wood places so much. I mean, kind of woods, but not what I'm thinking of. Um, but but it's been fantastic. So I was actually stationed here for a short period of time, went away, and then I volunteered to be stationed back here a second time because I love Vegas. And when it was time, like you said, to retire, we wanted to stay.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. For me and my wife. We went to Valley of Fire, which is 45 minutes from here. Gorgeous. It's very much similar to Red Rock Canyon. It's so nice. You guys are close to Mount Charleston. You guys are up there in Sky Canyon, which is a great booming area. For my real estate, I show a lot of houses in Sky Canyon. It's a very popular area that only got built within the last 5 years or so, give or take. And right, if you keep going north, there, you end up Kyle Canyon, Mount Charleston, and Lee Canyon. I love taking the kids up there. We'll have a picnic. We might see a wild horse or two just roaming. It's so fun up there, and it's such a different landscape from the regular desert scenery that you see here. There's like no more cactus. Like it feels like you're in Colorado or something with the way that the trees are up there. It's just completely different landscaping, completely different everything. You're what, 10,000, 12,000 feet elevation. So it's a different world up there. Love
Escape.
Red Rock. Yeah, it's a nice, if you go at the right time, you might go on a hike where the snow in the mountains has now melted. So now you get a nice waterfall throughout your hike. That's always a nice little treat. So you got me going with all the outdoor fun for here in Las Vegas. If I was to is there such thing as living in Vegas, or maybe perhaps living in this region of the United States? Does it provide health benefits, being that the dry weather or the climate here? I guess, what are the benefits? What are the pros and cons to living in this region of the United States from a healthcare perspective?
One of the big ones is, for me at least, is there's a lot less bugs. And so we don't have, I mean, there are some bugs that you got to kind of watch out for, like you said earlier, the scorpions and that sort of thing. But really, in the city, they've been pretty much driven out, as far as I can tell. So it's fairly rare that you end up with those bites and stuff like that, but they do happen. But nothing related to, like, in the Midwest or in the South, where you get torn up with mosquitoes and that sort of stuff. Um, you mentioned the dry weather and the heat. That is very beneficial to certain populations, especially those that have breathing issues. Um, they can, like, I think Las Vegas used to be, or Denver too, was a place that people who had TB would always go to because it was so much easier for them to be cared for in the like I said, the dry and warm type of atmosphere. But other kind of advantages, I don't know. There's some disadvantages. You got to be careful with the sun. The sun will bleach you, um, and make your hair go away.
Okay, going back to your clinic, I've got a question. So, just for like, I'm always a mechanics person, a logistics person. I've always done operations before I was in real estate. I was always managing operations. So, like, can you kind of take me through? Okay, let's say I'm feeling sick. It's probably I might have COVID. I might have the flu. I'm not feeling well. I've already signed up for your subscription. I What do I do? Do I just walk in? Do I have to call ahead of time and you know tell you, hey, I'm not feeling well? Can I come in? Like literally for someone who's never experienced your clinic before as a patient, can you maybe give us a little run through of what it would be like? How long am I going to have to sit in your waiting room? And just the mechanics of it all. Please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So our members, very first thing you should do is call our office. If it's outside of our normal business hours, leave a message. Those messages are automatically transcribed and sent to our cell phones so that we can deal with them accordingly. If you're just looking for a med refill, we can handle that on the next business day whenever we're open. But if you're not feeling well and you text us outside of business hours, then we're going to read that text message and we're going to give you a call back. And first thing we're going to do is just talk it over the phone. What's going on with you? Is this something that we need to bring you in for right now? Or is this something that we can just throw something in the pharmacy for you to pick up because we've seen you for this issue? We know what it is. You're one of our members and we have a good working relationship. If it's something that we need to see you for, we're going to bring you in that day. Now that depends on our schedule, but we always have time open to where we can pull you in for a good hour to evaluate you. If you think you need, or we think you need, any kind of rapid strep, rapid influenza, rapid COVID test, we have those here. We can swab you. We can run it in 30 seconds to 15 minutes, depending on which one it is. If you have any of those, we can offer treatment right out of here. If that's not the case and it's something that you need antibiotics for, we can give you antibiotics out of here. If it's something we don't carry or you want to use your insurance copay, we can send it right across the parking lot to a pharmacy or a pharmacy near your house. You can pick it up on your way home. We just try to take the hassle out of healthcare. You're able to get in here same day. When we're triaging you on the phone, it's most likely Brett or myself that you're talking to. Without the hassle, you get in, you get out, and you stay happy.
I think you hit on something there too that's kind of unique with this kind of model is that Ben mentions you can call, but you can also text us at any time. And we have, even with, we're not fully, don't have a full panel yet of members. I probably get a call maybe twice a week after hours or a text something, and someone's asking questions about a family member that's sick. And most of the time, if you talk to them over the phone and you just give them advice and what to do and stuff like that, make sure that they hydrated, take this kind of medicine, that kind of medicine, they're fine. And they don't need to go to the ER or to the urgent care. And that's a huge thing because a lot of times you just don't know if you haven't been around with medicine and stuff like that. So an example for is you have a fairly young child, say 1 year old or 2 years old. If they have a fever, they sometimes, especially at night, that's when they get fevers, they can have it's called a febrile seizure. If you see your child in a seizure, you're going to freak out. I don't care who you are, even if you've been around it a million times, you're going to freak out when your child has a seizure right in front of you. And you're going to feel like, I got to get them to the emergency room right away. But the fact of the matter is that they're perfectly harmless. It's because of the fever, and you need to just bring the temperature down. But avoiding having to go to the ER in a situation like that, or I just yesterday had a patient call because his wife had been in and had a radiology procedure, a CT, and they injected dye, and she had a reaction to the dye. And when she got home, it turned out she was just dehydrated because she had not. She was afraid of having to go to the bathroom or something while she was there, so she didn't eat and didn't drink and everything else. but able to talk to the husband over the phone and stuff like that. And we got all. It turned out it was not an emergency, but they didn't know. So their next step was go to the ER. You go to the ER. We've all done it. You sit there for a couple hours before you actually see anybody, and then they send you home because by then you're feeling fine. But you get a big bill with that because an emergency room is a huge thing. I mean, they don't they've got to pay their bills and all that kind of stuff too, right? And so you end up with a several $1,000s bill, which you send to the insurance company, and then you got your copay thing and everything. But just having someone on the phone, a nurse advice line, call it that you can talk through these kind of things and realize, okay, I don't need to go to the ER. This can wait till the morning or something like that. Or you just, have advice on what to watch for, and, what things to actually trigger whether you need to go to the ER. Just having that advice is a huge thing for most people, because most people don't want to go to the ER. They would prefer to handle it at home if they can, and turns out, yes, most times you can.
Yeah, or like someone like you make me think of someone like my dad, such an old school. He cut himself really bad one time on his forearm, literally used super glue. And that's been like the running joke in the family throughout my childhood was like, oh yeah, just put some super glue on it. Like you're fine. Like he will not go to the doctor unless he is dragged there. Like he's that guy. But I've definitely thought something was a big deal. I went to college in Arizona and I got stung by a scorpion, and I didn't know. I thought I stepped in an ant pile or something. It was like a very burning sensation. And a friend of mine who like grew up in Arizona looked at it. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's a scorpion sting." It was like three of them. I thought my foot was gonna fall off. I thought I was gonna die. I'm going like, "Oh my god!" I'm not gonna make it to the morning. Like I have to because I didn't. You just don't know. And I'm running to the ER and they're all laughing at me. They're like, "Hey, do you want us to give you a Band-Aid? Like it's gonna cost you $500." Like I'll give you two band-aids. Like it was such a relief to know that was such a non-issue, especially living here in Vegas. Everyone's afraid of scorpions, and I get it. I totally get it. And you don't really see them often; they're not common. But the way it was explained to me by the people at the ER, it was just like, hey, it's kind of like a bee sting. Like it's gonna suck for a few days. It's gonna be sore a little bit, and other than that, it was itchy. Yeah, just kind of I think I was supposed to go hiking the next day. My foot was like I couldn't do the hike, but other than that, foot didn't fall off, didn't die, and it's nice to have someone like you guys to contact and go, okay, at least tell me where I'm at. Do I need to come in? Is this urgent? Is this life or death? How serious is this, so that I can plan accordingly, as opposed to sitting in an ER waiting room for 3-4 hours before anyone even talks to you.
Yeah, and when you come in here, you're not going to wait. We have a very unique door chime that lets us know when somebody's here, and we get up and we greet you at the door. We bring you right back to our rooms. Our rooms are set up differently than most doctors' offices. We have basically huge sitting areas. So Brett and I are in 2 chairs. There's a coffee table that this laptop's on. Behind that's a couch. That's where 90% of an appointment takes place, is just sitting, talking to the patient. They'll tell you what's going on if you listen hard enough. There's an exam table in the back if and when we need it, but it's just a different style than what most people are used to. And we have the time to educate people. We have the time to listen to them. That's all built right into the model.
Because we live in Las Vegas, I see a lot of the time these like IV drip hangover cure type of clinics. Is that something? I guess, what is your take on that? Like, if you're hungover, can you just inject a pouch of saline solution and you're cured? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Just because it's such a popular thing for this city.
Hangovers are basically you're dehydrated, so they just tank you up with some saline or something like that, and a lot of times they'll put some extra vitamins and stuff in there. I don't know if that really does much for you, but yes, you will feel better pretty quick when you get the fluids back in you. That headaches and the malaise feeling that you have will go away pretty quickly. I don't know if from a doctor's perspective, I don't know if I can recommend that when you're hungover, but that is a fairly simple treatment. And yeah, there's a lot of companies that go around. I guess they meet you down at the hotels and take you up right there in your hotel room, and then I don't know what they charge. I have no idea, but that's a fairly common thing. Yes.
Yeah, if you want to save some money, just hydrate orally. Take some ibuprofen, not Tylenol, because you already taxed your liver the night before. Tylenol is metabolized by your liver, and it's already had a rough go. So go with some ibuprofen that goes through your kidneys. If you want to take a multivitamin to help you feel a little bit better, go ahead and take it with your water. But oral hydration is best and cheaper.
Yeah, and because we live in Las Vegas, it's very easy to get dehydrated here. Like, do you have any quick tips and tricks for how to survive a typical Vegas summer? I mean, we had a very easy summer this summer, but last summer we set the record with I think it was a 121-degree day. We broke the record for the hottest day in however long. But yeah, I do find it very common to always get headaches and migraines in the summertime, and I'm chugging water all day. But like, I guess what can you tell people to best prepare for those hottest months for a typical Vegas summer?
Well, first thing I'll say is that you are putting out a lot more fluids through sweat and through your breathing than you're aware of. It's shocking how much in Vegas, because the dry, super dry, and it's warm, and they call it like it's a dry heat, so you don't feel that, it doesn't feel like 115. Well, it is 115, and you are sweating a lot. Just because you're not drenched in the sweat doesn't mean that water is not coming out. It's just evaporating so quickly. So it's very, very easy to get dehydrated. And one of the things that we see in Vegas, probably more so than anywhere else that I'm aware of at least, is kidney stones. And
Oh, wow.
if you've ever had a kidney stone, it's not pleasant. It's not a fun thing to go through. So absolutely, stay hydrated is a huge thing. And as far as how to do that, I mean, just keep drinking. It doesn't have to be water. It can be just about any kind of fluids, even sodas, I know, or coffee and stuff like that. Yes, they are weak diuretics, but you're still getting more fluids than you're losing. So just keep drinking and make sure you're drinking a lot. People will try to monitor their intake by the color of their urine, which you can do, but it basically tells you how you did since your last time you went to the bathroom. It doesn't tell you how you're doing right now. So, but with that, if you kind of, over several days, you can monitor yourself. And if you have dark urine, you're probably not getting enough fluid. You need to add a little bit to your regimen. But yeah, it's not a good way to do it right now. Am I hydrated? Am I not? But it does tell you how you did earlier in the day.
I love that. And real fast, what causes the kidney stones? What do we need to avoid? Foods or drinks or typical habits that can prevent that?
The prevention, basically, stay hydrated. That's the best thing you can do. There are some foods that are predispose you to getting kidney stones, but honestly, for the vast majority of us, as long as we stay hydrated, we're going to be good. So you should be drinking a lot, and you should be going to the restroom a couple times a day because you're drinking so much. But you're actually normally. So I'll just put this out there: if you're not in Vegas, you're, I don't know, in Iowa or something like that, and it's not so hot and it's humid and stuff like that, or if you have somebody in the hospital, the amount of fluids that they take in is about the same amount of fluids that they urinate. But what's not in there is like your respiration and your sweating and stuff like that. Well, where does that fluid come from? That fluid actually comes from your metabolism. So what you're eating, kind of a byproduct of that, is water. And so you're creating water in you, even with just eating and stuff like that, with your metabolism. But in place like Vegas, the amount that you're actually expelling through just breathing is a lot. You're losing a lot of fluid that way. And then, of course, your sweat. And so that balance is completely off. So you actually have to drink a lot more here than you actually pee out. but you should still be peeing several times a day, and then you're getting enough fluids.
Yeah, it's very tricky here is what you mentioned about the sweat evaporating, because you're not sweating like technically, but you are sweating. You are actually sweating, but it feels like you're not. That's what it is. You think like, oh, I'm not even sweating. I'm fine. I don't need to drink water. It's like, no. You are sweating. It is just so dry here that it evaporates that fast. I mean, we lose a lot of water while we sleep. It's good to wake up and drink some water the second you wake up. I mean, just to replenish all that you lost while you're sleeping. So, I see that a lot. Just friends and family, especially when people come to visit, they think, oh yeah, I'm good. I got this. And it's like, no. This city will take you down hard. And not even on the gambling front, just dehydration. You're like, watch out. So, overall, guys, we're wrapping it up. I want to thank you for being here. Before we go, websites or social medias or anything that you would like to mention in terms of how people can find you and contact you when they need you.
Absolutely. Check out our website, www.valordirectprimarycare.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. We try to keep our social media kind of fun.
I would say even people who are not in the Sky Canyon area, if you're interested, please at least check out direct primary care. It is an option that is out there. It is in my humble opinion, it is a much superior method of delivering primary care. And so there are plenty of direct primary care offices around the county, around the city. But if you go to our website, it'll explain a lot of what the advantages and disadvantages are. But you can, like I said earlier, you can Google it as well. There are lots of places. And that's the thing about direct primary care, is that we're not in competition with each other. We really aren't. We consider our competition to be the traditional model as far as offering something that we think is a better way of doing primary care.
And I have to say, having met you guys and having come into your clinic, it's a very beautiful clinic. It is not your standard typical healthcare system, white walls and very cold and clinical feeling. Your clinic feels like you're going for a spa treatment. I mean, you've got beautiful decor. You actually painted your walls, and it just feels very clean in there and very nice. And everyone there is very friendly. They don't treat you like a number. They actually treat you like a human being. So I got a very warm and welcoming type of vibe when I was in there. So kudos to you for cultivating that and making that a thing out here.
Well, thank you. That's exactly what we were going for.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you again for being here. And thank you for being one of the Vegas Faces.
Oh, it was our pleasure, David. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, guys. Awesome.
Thank you for subscribing to Vegas Faces on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok under the name Gavri Group. That's Gavri Group. Thanks, everybody. See you at the next episode.